guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I am your beautiful host, Shamiso. I haven't said that in a long time, and I know you guys understood. I'm your beautiful host, Shamiso, and today I am joined by someone who I've known for a long time, but we haven't talked in a while, but I've known her for like most of my childhood life. Does that make sense? I don't know. You tell me. But I just wanted to welcome Tapiwa, who's one of our first guests for this quarter of the year. Welcome to Shine Your Light, Tapiwa. It's so nice to have you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm super excited to be on Shine Your Light. I am so honored to be here.
Oh,
And I'm doing really good.
yeah, great.
Yeah, that's been really good. And yeah, excited to do this interview.
Awesome. We're excited to have you guys. Don't mind me, I'm drinking my coffee.
Oh, same.
Yes, coffee girls. If you have, get your guys a snack. This is gonna be a long conversation, by the way, 1 hour or something. This is like a movie. It's gonna be a long conversation. So get your snack, get your coffee. Put your like YouTube channel stuff on your TV. I don't know, because it's gonna be a great conversation. So yeah. So Tapia, I always start with how I met videos. Like the way Shiny Light is going, I'm probably gonna be like interviewing people that I don't know, but I still might ask them this question just for the fun of it. I always ask
Yeah.
my guests like, how did we meet? And yeah, how do you remember when we met in the 2000s back then when we were young? How did we meet? How do we know each other? The floor is yours.
How did we meet? Well, yeah, that is an interesting question because we met when we were literally kids
Yeah.
uh, in primary school. But you know, it may not necessarily be how we met, but one thing I will never forget is that you were the alley bad to my alley
Yes,
worst.
I was. I was.
Yeah, basically we were in the school play Aladdin and we were playing these brothers who were thieves. So they were alley bad and alley worst.
I was Ali
Um,
West.
yeah, it's like a core memory.
Yeah.
One of those childhood memories that yeah, you never forget. So technically, this isn't our first time collaborating together production wise.
Production wise, it's been in our blood since day one. What? Like, is there a movie that's gonna come? Ali Bad and Ali West return. You never know. You never know. We could. Do you remember the
Exactly.
song?
Yes, I do. Like literally, that's like tattooed in my brain.
In this, what?
Like
One
one
thing
thing
counts in the
in the bank,
large
larger.
amounts. Money doesn't what?
Grow on trees.
Trees. We've got to pick a pocket or two. I love it. I love it. I love it. So if you guys don't know, I was an actor. Like I acted in a play we did for church as well. So you know my acting skills they came out. They came out this Easter. But like it's been ingrained in me since I was young. So the talent that I have now, it's because it started when I was at Bishopsley, you know.
Yeah.
So the talent we have now, you're on YouTube, I'm on YouTube. It's just that's how it grew, you know. But yeah, you were Ali Bad, I was Ali Worse, and I can't believe they made us act as guys in a girls' school. But hey man, hey man, hey man. I don't know. I don't know.
Done.
I don't know. But yes, I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And that I remember like that, like acting with you and being close with you and us having a good relationship. We went to different high schools, like we didn't talk that much, but I still considered you like a really close friend and all of that. And like yeah, yeah. So another question that I have for you is, like I mentioned, you do YouTube. Like, what did
Yeah.
you, why, what, what got you into doing YouTube and all of that? Like, was there a moment that you had a dream you were going to be a YouTube sensation star? Almost, I think you have almost like 100, 200 subscribers on your YouTube
Yeah.
channel around there.
Mhm.
So yeah, what got you into doing that?
Yeah. Well, with YouTube, I guess it's something that I always used to see and like watch people do and make. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I want to give that a try. And I think that's how my channel started. So I was like, I feel like the hardest part with doing anything is getting started because
Yeah,
you can come up with a million of reasons why not to do something. Like, oh, what if nobody watches my videos? Like literally zero views on all my videos. Or like all these thoughts of doubt and why I shouldn't do it. But then there was one day I just said, I want to do this and I might as well get started.
yeah,
And I might not be great. Like, I think that's the principle with starting anything new. You don't start off great,
yeah,
but wait to be great to start. You're never gonna start.
yeah.
So I'd say that's definitely how I started into like making content and stuff. And I was kind of just talking about stuff, like random stuff that, I found interesting or that I thought other people may find interesting and just feeling it out and putting myself out there.
Yeah.
Um, But I think recently, as my faith had grown, because I had stopped doing it for a while, because yeah, I had uni stuff and I was spiraling into this thing of what am I actually doing with my life?
Mm-hmm.
Like the time is going, the years are going by. Like, what am I actually doing? Like, what is it that I'm doing with the time God has given me on this earth?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it was in that season of pursuing my purpose and really seeking what it is God put in me and why he put me here.
Mm-hmm.
That got me to align like not just my YouTube channel, but like everything in my life to that purpose. And so my YouTube channel kind of shifted more towards being faith centered and not like faith as an extra, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, and so yeah, that's kind of where the channel is at now. The hope is to, encourage the faith lifestyle and that, we often talk about church or God in like a Sunday type of setting,
Yeah.
but what does it look like on a daily, on a weekly
Mm-hmm.
type of thing? And yeah, just to encourage and help people grow their faith.
I think that's really cool that like as a young person that's where your mind went to, like God, like because people always like I want to find myself and then they go on a retreat. Retreats are great.
I
Re-
mean,
I wouldn't mind. That sounds fun. But we have to go to our ultimate creator, which is God. He's the one that knows like us from the day we were born, from the day before we were even born. He knew us. It's in the Bible. Like he knitted us together. He had a plan and a purpose for us, and I think it's very amazing to see a young person talk about like Christianity online, because there's so many people that like are doing stuff that, and they say they're a Christian, but you see the fruits of it and you're just like, are you sure you're a Christian? Because of what you're
yeah,
saying and the fruits of it, like, that's not
yeah,
it. So I think it's admirable for you to like talk about it like wholeheartedly online on your YouTube channel, like, and make that like not just a side thing, but the main thing. And sometimes
yeah,
that's what we do with our relationship with God. We just go to church on Sunday and that's it. Like we think Sunday is gonna like make everything better, and like that's all we need. But we're a spirit being. We need to be edified every day, every hour, every second of the day. Like it has to be a constant thing. So I think it's a great thing that you're making it a constant in your life. And if you don't mind me asking, what is like your purpose? Of course, or as Christians, our purpose is to spread the gospel and tell people about God. But like, what has God like specifically put on your heart to do now in the future after university? Yeah.
oh, cool. That's a really, really nice question. Um, yeah, like I was saying, in that space when I was trying to find my purpose and
Yeah.
thing and just trying to figure out why I'm here. I just did a lot of research and looking into what God said about purpose and looking into these things. And there's something, like you were saying, about going back to your maker, to the manufacturer.
Yeah.
And one common, there's this preacher, he's late now. I'm not sure if you know of him, Dr. Miles Monroe, but he said something that was so profound. And he used this analogy of like a VCR, which is something that we probably wouldn't know, like
Yeah.
those old
Like a
school recording.
Yeah.
Exactly. And he was saying that when people buy those machines, they only use 4 functions like pause, play, record, fast forward. But then there are actually like hundreds of functions that you don't know about because you never read the instructions that the manufacturer made, like the manufacturer put in there. And so you live a very limited life. And so for me, that's kind of what the path I was on initially, like living a very limited life, sorry. And so in that discovery, I just kind of realized my full potential and kind of started thinking bigger than I was. Because in this analogy of the VCR, I was really going to settle for living the 4 function life and not the hundreds and hundreds of functions life. And so I think it's in realizing that, like, trusting God, that He has a plan for you. And something I often say is, I'm living my blessed life. And there's I'm living my best life,
Yeah.
which people from a secular point of view use it to like be wilding out and doing all these things. But like living my blessed life refers to living the best life I could possibly live. And from doing that, it comes from being in tune with God, like talking to Him and aligning myself and getting that purpose. And so what I realized is that I have so many talents and so many gifts, particularly like in terms of my professional career.
Yeah.
So I study biomedical engineering, which is a lot to explain, but I'll try to just give a brief overview of like what that is. It's essentially engineering, like mechanical engineering, making stuff, machines, but then with like medical focus. So you could also make things like printing livers and kidneys, and it's kind of focused around health and like the human body, right? Medicine. And so in realizing that, I also linked that with how I was working. So I'm currently working at an engineering company, a medical technology company. And while I was doing the work there, I realized the things that I was solving and like doing with my own brain. And that was another thing that led me to think, wow, I'm actually capable of so much. And then I kind of came to this realization that where I'm from, back home, Zim, needs a lot of that.
Yeah.
And if you look at the healthcare system and situation in Zim, it's like pretty dire.
Yeah.
And I think for people who grew up to be privileged, like us, for example, it's like if you wanted to get paracetamol, that's not like the end of the world for you. Like if you wanted to get basic things like that, like it's not the end of the world because you're in a position to afford it and things like that. And even with like looking at the landscape with things like serious diseases like cancer, and like let's just take cancer for an example. There's so many people, the majority of the population can't afford to get like imaging tests for that. And so you just die because there's nothing you can do. Like you wouldn't even fathom, like the first test that you'd need to do, you can't afford it. And so you just stay in that situation and you die. And so, yeah, so taking that into context, the situation in Zim and me using my gifts and my talents, I feel as though the Lord is calling me to be a light in that situation and use all the things that I've gained and the knowledge I have to fix that situation. And I think a thing in Zim is that the common thinking is, yeah, get out, like just get out. Like if yeah, just do that because there aren't really a lot of people trying to fix that. Because even when you do try fix it, there's so many obstacles and so many things that you have to overcome to do things like that. But Zimbabwe is like such a resourceful place and there's so many resources. And one thing I often link it to is, the story, like the parable of the talents. And it's like if you look at our country, we send out so many things out,
Mm.
then they get processed. And then when we import them back in, we're paying so much more for that, yet we have the crucial ingredients, can I say, to make those things.
Yeah.
And it's like when you don't use your talents, God gives it to the servants who are faithful and actually did something with what they were given.
Yeah.
So if you look at some of these first world countries, like even the UK, there's literally nothing here. Like there's an island, it's an island, a
Yeah.
tiny island. But they have so many manufacturing things. They're like doing the most and they import things from like these rich African countries. And they have a lot to show for that. But what do we as African people have to show for that? So it's kind of like just trying to bridge that gap and also try to make the most of the resources we have
Mm.
in Zim. So in summary, that's kind of what my purpose is, if that made any sense at
That made
all.
sense. That made sense. You use good analogies, and I'm just like, oh yes, preacher over here. Um, so would you go back to Zimbabwe? Like,
Oh, definitely. Like most definitely.
like when? Like in the next year, 2 years, would you stay here for masters or
Yeah, well, there's still a couple of things I need to learn, like education wise,
yeah.
and don't have the full plan yet, but it's more so I have my next few steps. So my next step after graduation would still be here for me. Because like how people have this thing that's saying, oh, things get better with time. And we can use them as an example that things do not get better with time.
Yeah.
They get better with knowledge.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, like so it's more so collecting that knowledge, getting that experience, and then seeing how the Lord guides me and leads me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one of the biggest things I used to worry about was like, how can I go back to Zim, guys? Like the situation in Zim is so dire. Like if you
Yeah.
think about things like the rate and like bribery and
Rates are ridiculous. I saw something, it was like 13,000, like a piece of sausage, was like 13,000 RTGS.
yeah.
Something like that. I correct me if I'm wrong, someone who's in Zimbabwe. I don't know, but like it was like somewhere there.
Yeah. Have you ever had that experience when you go home? Like you compare it to the last time you were home and
Yeah.
you try to think, how much did I pay for this? And then when you go back, it's like, what? Like, surely this cannot be real. And it's like so ridiculous. So it was things like that. But
Mhm.
one thing I have confidence in is that when God sends you there, He will always send provision,
Yeah.
like always. And yeah, it's just that trust, like trusting in God, that for as long as you keep talking to Him, communicating with Him, and like, saying, is it this way? Is it that way? You'll be good. Like even if you take the Israelites, they literally had nothing. But literally the day before, God provided them with so much wealth. And it didn't even make sense the way,
Mm.
the Egyptians were giving over their possessions and stuff like that. So that is that's something that's given me confidence in that decision to move back, and that when God sends you somewhere, He provides.
Mm.
So yeah. So yes, Zim is definitely in the cards for me. Going back to your original question.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think purpose is something that um purpose is something that we kind of struggle with, especially when we're young. Because like for me right now, like you had asked before we started recording, you had asked me like what's it like being a university, like out of university, and I was like, I'm feeling kind of lost. It's not that I don't know what my purpose is, Jesus. Like I know what it is, but it's just weird not having the structure. It's weird not having like what you're used to. Like for such a long time because we're just bred up in the educational system for most of our lives. Like we've been privileged, thankfully. We went to good high schools, good universities. We're going to good universities. And yeah, sometimes it can just be difficult to to figure that out. And especially when you're young and people are asking you questions like, when is this gonna happen, when is that, like I was talking to one of my friends and he was talking to me like how I was telling him we're at that stage where people are gonna start asking us about marriage, and I'm like, I don't know, don't ask me. Your face.
Scary.
But we're getting to that age and stage where people are going to start asking us these big questions that we don't have answers to. And I'm like, go talk to Jesus. Go talk to
Oh,
Jesus. Go to him. He knows all things, all of it. I don't
yeah.
even know what's going to happen tomorrow, but Jesus knows. Go to him, ask him. He may give you a timeline. He may not give you a timeline, but go to Jesus. So have people asked you like those type of questions, like what's next for you um as of yet, or when do you finish your degree? Like I don't know when you've had how long your degree is.
Yeah, so I'm technically in my third year, so I will finish next year in June, July about.
Okay.
So yeah, that's pretty much when I think I'll finish. As for the big questions, like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. Like, when is this happening? And when is this gonna happen? And you're like, I don't know. Like, it's like it's one of those. I have the big plan for my life. Like, I have the general thingies. And I think you're so right about like worrying about what's next and what's this and what's that. But like, the thing is, just as long as you can see your next step,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing. Because even if you think of people who receive these great big prophecies and stuff, there's so many gaps in between where you're like, what was happening? What was happening? Like if you take Mary, she just gave birth to like the savior. And then it's like, now what do I do? Because this is a baby. Like, am I supposed to do anything special? Am I supposed to, but I think the thing is just work what you know until you get there.
Yeah,
God will also be guiding you and informing you. And even start popping people into your life that will help you on that journey as well.
definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely. um so we're in the like second quarter of the year, I think, because the first
Yes.
quarter was up until January, February, March. Quarters for January, February, March, April. We're now in May. So we've just entered
Yeah.
the second quarter of the year. Are there any like big goals that you've accomplished so far in like the first quarter? Or are you like, Shami, girl, don't even ask me that question. I'm still trying to figure out what 2023 is.
Yeah. Well, like I could say, like what I was talking about before, like in this quarter, like the first quarter of the year, was kind of me just, figuring out what I was doing and also just changing the way I think.
Mm,
Because, yeah, 2022 was a very turbulent year. Like, it was a crazy year for me. And so I guess this year I really managed to like change my thinking, my perspective, and grow a lot, especially spiritually, which is something I've been so happy about. Because even in terms of dealing with things like anxiety and like worrying, and even just the way I approach things, like my goals as well, has just changed a lot. So I guess it's more of a systemic type of change, which I think is the most effective one because when you change single things, it's kind of like, okay, but when you change your whole way of seeing things, your whole way of thinking, your whole way of doing things, that like ripples across everything in your life. And so that's definitely something, especially one thing I could especially make note of is like my fitness journey in terms of like being consistent with going to the gym and trying to eat healthy. I think I used to always do this thing where a day is either a healthy day or an unhealthy day. So I always used to put myself on these ridiculously strict diets, and like once I mess up, the whole day is gone and messed up.
Yeah.
So might as well start eating unhealthy. But like really just getting into that mindset of looking at it as a lifestyle type
Mm,
of thing. So on a daily, how am I eating? Like what am I eating? And I would guess also just being patient with myself, as well as it's like um starting a diet or trying to lose weight, for example. And you're always in this rush to be like, no, I need to lose this weight tomorrow. Like tomorrow it needs to be gone and things like that. And I think for a long time I had this mindset of then I'll be this. So
mm,
like when I lose weight, then I'll be happy. Or when I get this, then I'll be happy. Like waiting for that and not being able to be present in my now and be grateful for what I have now. And I think that mindset is actually rooted in ungratefulness, like not appreciating the things that you do have, but always highlighting what you don't. And yeah, I think that was a very miserable way to live. So that shifting in the way I see things and in my mindset is definitely something I'm very happy about. Like it's increased the quality of my life so much. And just like in terms of living a healthier and happier life, I'm grateful for that. Yeah, as well as like reaching my goals spiritually. Um like things I had set out to do, for example, like being more involved and serving in church was something I wanted
mm.
to do. But like I said, like the hardest thing with anything is getting started because you say, oh, no, I have to do this. No, I have to do this and I have to sign up and I have to meet new people, which can sometimes be scary. But yeah, actually getting to a space of doing it,
Yeah.
like doing the stuff that I said I wanted to do.
Mm.
So yeah, that's kind of the goals I could say I smashed in the first first quarter.
So what are your next goals? Do you have, or are you like Shami girl? Like I don't even, girl. It's too early
Um,
for this.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of new goals. I have a YouTube series that I want to do, but I won't say much now. But look out for that, like
Mm-hmm.
around August time, because it's something I'm really excited to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of that was doing the planning and preparation for that. And so that series is something that I'm really looking forward to achieving this next year. Another thing I could say is when I'm home, like for the summer, is really getting involved in like the communities that I want to help, because I think I want to do these things and like help people, but it's very hard to help someone that you don't know, like you don't understand their full
Yeah.
situation. So something I definitely want to do is get more immersed in those communities to like fully understand the problem so that I can be the most effective solution to that problem.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something that I have set out to do for myself. And yeah, that those are pretty much my two main goals for the next quarter, I would say.
That sounds good. Sounds exciting. And I know you're gonna achieve all of them, and God's just gonna blow your mind with them. And
Man.
yeah, it's gonna be amazing. Like, send me the when the series is out. Send me it so that I can also post on China that said they can know like the series is out and this girl's
Yeah.
doing big things and it's gonna be amazing. All that good stuff. Okay, so this is like my favorite part of the interviews because um it's just a favorite part of mine because I like asking this question. I'm always curious about what people have to say when I ask this question.
Mhm.
What question do you have for me? Any question on your any questions? I'm gonna ask you this a couple of times. So get yourself like let me just play some music do 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 so that you can just think do 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 do
Okay,
do
I
do.
have a
Okay,
question. Like,
okay.
first question is like, in this new season of Shine Your Light,
Yes.
what is it that you're hoping for and like achieving? I like hoping to achieve and like goals for this season.
That's a good question. You should be the interviewer, not me. That's a good question. I think in this season of this new phase of Shine Your Light, because I had been praying about, like, I need to pray again because the vision can change at any point and I need to make sure I'm aligned with the vision. But like I was praying about it like at the beginning of the year, and one thing, God, it's like I was asking Holy Spirit, I was like, Holy Spirit, what's next? Like, what are we doing? And he was like, Shami, what do you want Shine Your Light to be? And I was like, you want to know my opinion? Okay. This is what I want it to be. I want Shine Your Light to be everything. Because I think Shine Your Light is a representation of Shami, because I've always tried to be everything for everyone, and being a sister, a friend, a mother, a surrogate mother, an aunt, this, that. Like, I've always tried to be everything to everyone. And I think last year, like, I couldn't do that because there were a lot of things that happened, which we'll talk about at some point, which I'm not ready to talk about right now, but we can talk about that personally, like the two of us, but not online. And I really want people to, like, have all the resources they possibly can to succeed in their lives, spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically, in their education, with relationships. We're gonna have couples, we're gonna have married couples, we're gonna have single people, we're gonna have people that are dating, engaged, all of these things. Like, I want Shine Your Light to be the hub for everything, because I don't know everything, but I know people that know almost everything. So I want this season to be like just exponential growth. Like, also one thing that the Holy Spirit put on my heart was just that he was like, I don't want you to think in the thousands anymore, think in the millions. And I was like, a million is a big number. It's a big number, and I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
like, but it's just been something that was on my heart, that is on my heart. And I told my pastor, Pastor Esther, like, I just want to reach the millions. And I was crying, and she was like, you're going to just do this, and do that. And I was just like, whoa, I can actually do that. So I think the next phase of Shine Your Light is just reaching for the stars, if we're being honest. Like, I'm gonna look for guests. I'm gonna pray for the guests. I'm gonna pray that everything falls in place. I already have 2 more people lined up for the month. Like, and the way that happened, like, I'm very excited about, like, the way one of the guests, like, the way he came, like, I wanted him to be a guest, and then he messaged me, and I was like, well, that was easy. And I just kind of slid in his DMs, and now he's a guest. But like, you'll see him not next week, but the following week after this one. And we're gonna have another guest. She said yes already. And I'm like, and please also bear in mind, people, Shine Your Light is not for women only. I know we've only been having women as guests. Maybe most of the time I just talk to girls, like, and those are the people I predominantly talk to. But it's for everyone. It's for every guy, every girl, every Christian that wants to grow and grow in all these areas. So we're reaching for the stars. Like, I don't know if that answers your question, but like, we're just gonna go big or go home, even though technically this is not my home but country, but we'll just say it's my home country, like, until, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's a new phase. Go big, go home, reach the millions, and do it with the Holy Spirit. That's that's the next phase for Shine Your Light. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to
Thank
see it.
you.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna be
Yes.
binge watching this content, like waiting for it. So just know we'll be waiting on you to deliver.
Thank you. That's put a bit of pressure on me, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I got this.
But don't worry, you got this. You got this.
Got this.
Lightweight stuff.
Wait, I like lifting up weights. Um,
Yeah.
Any other questions that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
My next question would be, what is one thing, or if you have a couple, like feel free to share, that you wish all young people knew or realized?
Ooh, that's a good question. Young people. I would say if I was talking to like a younger version of myself, I would tell her, this is cliche. All African parents probably just tell you this. I would tell her, don't get into a relationship because you're not ready. And it's okay that you're not ready. God will prepare you, but just wait.
Mm.
That's what I would tell younger Shami. And if you are someone that was like me when they were young and just wanted to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship, like that's what I would tell somebody.
Mm.
Like some people meet their people, like my uncle met his wife, like my aunt, like when they were young, and they got married later on, like in their 20s. Like they met when they were 14 or something, and they got married in their 20s. Yeah, they met very young. But this is what I'll tell my younger. I know I'm not answering the question you asked, but I'm answering something that I wish I would have just listened to when I was younger. I would also tell a younger version of myself, and if you can feel like you can relate to this, like you're creative, you have so much potential within you, and it's there. Like Shine Your Light started in 2017 when I was typing in a document on my HP computer, and I didn't know what Shine Your Light was, and I didn't know what I was typing for, but I was just typing. And it led to me writing poetry, meeting other poets, doing a spoken word night, doing another one. We're gonna do another one this year. Like, yes, it's gonna be fun. Like you're more creative than you realize. You have more potential than you realize. Stick to God. Just
Amen.
stick to God, and you'll be okay. Um, and another thing would be, don't worry about your body. Yeah. Don't worry about the way you look because it's gonna change. So love yourself, like in all areas, but don't put your physical appearance on a pedestal because your body is going to shift and it's gonna take a while for it to be the body you desire. So focus on something else. Focus on getting your health together, but don't focus on your body. Focus on the burn of the workout or the fun of getting food sorted out, or I don't know, whatever. But don't focus on your body. That's what I would tell myself if I was younger. And that's what I wish someone would have told me like multiple times, like over and over and over again until I get sick of it. And hopefully that's something that some young person needs to hear. And get that degree. Get that degree. Go get that degree. Yeah. Focus on me. Whatever that song is. I think it's something like that. I'm not gonna say the rest because I think he swears somewhere. But like, get that degree, girl. You can do it. You can actually do it. Go get that degree. Get that degree. Prove them haters wrong. But that's what I'll tell a young person and myself younger version of myself.
Yeah. I feel that. Like that's a very wholesome like advice. Like, yeah, no, I totally like every single one of the things you said, I totally feel that.
Yeah.
And even in terms of like relationships, especially when you're young, well, to be fair, it doesn't really go away because even society,
Yeah.
in a sense, like has this thing where like if you're not in a relationship, like you're doing something wrong or
Yeah.
something missing from
I'm
your life.
I'm very much single. I've been single for like 2 years.
Yeah. And it's like,
Yeah.
and people treat that like it's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Like if you're single, the next thing is to actually just be trying to get into a relationship next,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, guys, it's okay. And I feel like that also keeps people in relationships when they're not happy, that thing of not wanting to be single. And that applies not just for young people, for old people as well. You can be like in situations where you're married for so long, or you don't actually like this person, but
You don't want
the
to be alone.
fear, yeah, the fear of being alone, or like, you know, things like that. And I heard this thing. It was more so about heartbreak, but being about being single. And this couple was like, even if you chop breakfast today, Jesus is preparing dinner for you in the presence of your enemies. And I just found that so,
Mm.
so magnific. Like, yeah, like it's actually not the end of the world. Um, so yeah, that's like very, very wholesome advice. And hopefully someone will listen to that advice, like all that advice that you've given, and it will stick. It
Yeah.
will stick.
That's
And yeah, you don't have to make all the mistakes. Like you don't have to go through all the things. You can also learn from other people.
yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very, very wholesome.
I'm not crying, guys. My eyes just watery. I don't know why. Can someone diagnose me? Is there a doctor in the building? Aren't you a doctor? I'm gonna be technically a doctor.
No.
Oh no. Oh,
Yeah, that's all I can do.
oh, okay. No, but
Yeah.
with the relationship stuff, like I was fearing to be alone. Like I even talked about it last year in an episode with Sarah Ruiz. Like I was like, I don't want to be alone after my breakup with my ex.
Mhm.
And like I kept on pushing to like talk to him or like talk to him, and I was getting ghosted like no other, and it was just sad. But
Yeah.
like it taught me that first of all, you can find somebody who's not gonna ghost you, who's gonna love you like Christ loves the church. You can find your husband, and it'll be magical and it'll be awesome. And but the waiting season of it, like the singleness season, shouldn't be a dread. Like you should make the most of it. Like have fun. Like Courtney Daniela, who will be on Shine Your Light. You're gonna see her. You're gonna see her. You're gonna see Courtney Daniela here.
Yes.
Courtney Daniela, you're gonna see Bot. Well, I'm not gonna say her name.
Oh,
Surname.
okay.
I don't
Yeah.
say people's surname on China because I don't want to butcher them and I don't want people to be looking at me side eye. So Courtney Daniela is gonna be here. CDB. Anyway, what was I saying? Like she's always making single content because she's single. So it's like, why would she make married people content when she's single? And it's
That's
very
true.
helpful and it's very wholesome and it's very like it's kind of like emphasizing on the fact that married people always talk about, not always, but the ones that I've watched here and there, they like enjoy your singleness. Like even Jackie Hill Perry said this, like enjoy your singleness because when you get married, like you're not gonna be alone. It's gonna be, this is for eternity, guys. Like marriage is forever. There's no saying a breakup. No, it's till death.
I'm like right now.
It's till death. So it's kind of like right now your priorities, even in the Bible, Paul says that your priorities will be split when you're married, but when you're just single, you can just focus on the Lord, you can just focus on God, you can just, your full attention is on the things of the Lord, um and what he desires for you to do in your life. So I think singleness has been fun for me. Like I've been making the most of it. Like also being in a new country, you discover new things. Do I want to be in a relationship? Of course I do. Do I want some somebody's son just DMing, just like in my DM, just being like, "Hey, cutie," and I'm like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Yes, I do. I want that. Like, of course I do." But
Yeah.
until until like God opens that door, I'm just gonna be chilling, having fun with my friends, making the most of it, doing the Lord's work, doing Shine Your Light, having fun with it. And yeah, that's one thing I'll tell past me, but also maybe someone who's younger. Like, maybe what I said is controversial. It might be. Let's go on the shade room. I don't care. Just giving us more places for us to be famous. You know,
Yeah.
our goal is 1 million, so we might as well say controversial stuff here.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any other questions for me? This is fun. Like, these questions are really good. If you have one more question, I would love to answer it because this is fun. Getting my brain tingling.
Yeah. Wow. I had a question. But I was just thinking a lot, like as you were speaking, there's so many things that you highlighted that I was like, yeah, that's so right. But just going back to that thing about like relationships, so you know how married people also sometimes make marriage seem like it's this really hard thing. And I get that like people are trying to demystify this marriage is like a beautiful, lovely fairy tale and everything is great every day.
Yeah.
But some of the times I feel like it's excessive. Like, so it's like, do you think marriage is a game? Like every day you have
Yeah.
to go to war and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh, well, yeah. So yeah, let me think about my last question. Because I definitely had one. But like, where did it go? Um, okay, so I asked you about Shine Your Light. I asked you about what you would tell the younger version of
Yeah.
you. Okay. Do you think you would ever move back to Zim?
Do I think I'll ever move back to Zimbabwe? Um, I I keep saying this, and I don't know why I keep saying this, but I always say I would only move there if my husband wants me to move back there. But that's not a good enough reason to be like, because my husband says. It's not like being submissive is not, but like, what would I want? I'm putting what I want onto the other person instead of saying what I actually want. I think not right now. Not right now. I wouldn't move there right now because everything is a bit higgledy piggledy, like upside down. And
Yeah.
I'm already used to like a certain lifestyle in the UK that like I didn't have when I was at home. Um, not that life at home was terrible. No, life at home was great. But it's just that the economy, the people in Zim are nice, people here are nice. But just that I don't think I would move back there right now. But in the future, yes. Like I need a couple more years here to like establish my career, get myself moving, start my other businesses, all of that, yada yada yada, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't go back immediately. Like I want to go back, but not like tomorrow,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I want to go back because like it's beautiful, it's home. I miss it here and there. But like one thing I realized, like, especially when I was in the previous relationship I was in, because
Yeah.
I met him when I was in Zimbabwe. I was like I know this is kind of like sad and a bit harsh, but I was like, when we were driving from somewhere, I realized that there's nothing for me here. I was like, even though I'm with this person, like I don't see myself like with this person or being here. But I still stayed in the relationship and I still like that's a whole other story for another day. But like the point is I've learned my lesson. You should too, guys. But like I didn't see like a future in Zimbabwe. And I think that was God showing me like there's nothing for you here. Like
Mm.
not that there's nothing. Oh, sorry. Not that I thought there was no alarms at 7, but I guess they were. Not
Yeah.
that there's nothing in them, but there was nothing for me at the time. Like If I
Yeah.
stayed there, I didn't have friends there. Like people had moved back to their home countries or moved to uni. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I just didn't see a future there. Now that I've
Mm.
left it, I'm just like there are endless possibilities for me to be in the UK. But like also, yeah, there's some I can see a glimpse in some, but not like forever, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does make sense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Any other questions? This is fun. This is my favorite. This is my favorite segment of it because it's like it is fun.
yeah. Let me see. Okay. Who is an inspiration of yours?
Who is an inspiration of mine? I love Lisa Nichols and Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Lisa Nichols, like her motivational speaking. Like one of her motivational speaking when she was talking about action is the antidote to despair. She said that and I was like, whoa. And from that, like I wrote a list of what I wanted my first spoken word night beauty for ashes to be. Like I wrote it on a piece of paper and I told my friend Tanya and I was like, this is my vision for it. And I put it on my wall and everything I wanted came to fruition. And I just got busy because that was during the pandemic and I was feeling a bit low. And I realized I wasn't taking action when it came to anything. So when she said that, like I was like, Lisa Nichols and Sarah Jakes Roberts will also be on Shine Your Light, guys. So just stay tuned. Stay tuned.
I'm
I hope
speaking
they're seeing this.
good.
So yeah. So those are my two ladies that are like I know I say shine your light isn't for women only, but I be talking about a lot of women's. I just watch women like and their stuff. Like I do follow guys here and there. We're gonna have a guy next week, guys. Okay, we're gonna have a guy next week. Okay, sorry, he's coming. Okay, he's gonna balance all the estrogen out. Okay, okay.
My
Like
goodness.
Like I had to make it clear when I was rebranding that I said for men and women, so that the men don't
Yeah.
feel that they're not included. You know, we gotta
Yeah,
include
like
everyone.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think you're out of questions. Are you out of questions? Like,
One more. One
okay,
more.
okay,
It's more of like an Uno reverse question because you
okay.
asked me. Um, but what are your goals for the next half of the year, let's say?
Okay. I want to lose weight. I want to
Mm-hmm.
lose a lot of weight, not a lot of weight, like 9 kgs. Like that's my goal. But I want to also burn fat at the same time and build muscle. So burn fat, build muscle.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've applied to a gym. Not gonna say which one because I don't need people stalking me in Coventry. So this is the internet. Like we gotta be careful.
Yeah.
I've applied for a gym membership and all of that stuff, so that's sorted. And I'm gonna be going to the gym. I've never been to the gym. When I was in Zimbabwe, I was just doing home workouts because the gyms were expensive and I didn't have the money. But now that I'm in the UK, like I was able to like get the money, get everything sorted. Yeah. So lose weight, um, like get toned, look like the Hulk. Not She-Hulk. No, She-Hulk was interesting. It was an interesting show, but kind of look like her. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, start uni again because I want to get a master's.
Yeah.
Um, well, no, that's not the first quarter. That's like the third quarter. So scratch that. Scratch that.
I said the first half,
The
so
first
that is
half. Okay, that's the first half.
the
That's
next half.
next
Next half.
half. Okay, cool. That's like next half. I really want to travel. I'm gonna be out of school for a while. I want to go to Bali. I want to go somewhere. I just want to wear a swimming costume and relax. I don't want this weather anymore. Like,
Mm.
that's the only reason I'll go back to Zimbabwe because of the weather, even though it's winter around. No, I think it's winter. Is it
Yeah,
winter?
it is.
Yeah. But the winters aren't that cold, like compared to here. It doesn't snow in Zimbabwe. So, um, yeah, like, yeah, what else? What else? What else? Um, yeah, lose weight, travel, start uni. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I'm excited for you in advance.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait, also do another spoken word night. I keep saying I thought I was gonna do one last year. I didn't do that. That didn't happen because I had to rest. But like this year, I want to do another spoken word night, and I'm already like conjuring up some like people that I want to have. Like I'm already planning that in my head. So I'm just like, they better come. Like people in the UK. I think I'm gonna have it. I want to have it in Zimbabwe, but then it's more feasible to have it here. But
Mm.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this was fun. I love the questions. This is why this is my favorite part of the. That's why I keep it to the
Yeah.
end because I never know what people are gonna ask me. Next time, I should prepare my guests that they have to ask me some questions so that they can also be thinking about stuff. But you did a great job, and this was really fun. Any last words before we end the interview?
Um, yeah, like it was really great doing this interview. It was really fun. I'm excited for like, this phase of Shine Your Light and just, keep going. Like this is amazing work. And just even watching the older episodes, it's just like, wow, I got to be on Shine Your Light, guys. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Tapiwa, thank you so much for doing this, and we hope to see like all the things that God has for you come to fruition this year. And we love you at Shine Your Light, guys. We love everyone. We love you. And yeah, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Bye. And also, guys, don't forget to shine. Bye.